Parenting doesn't come with a manual, but if it did, it would sound like Natalie McCabe, a devoted educator and coach, helping parents find calm, confidence, and connection in the chaos.
Powerful parenting tools is modeling.
I feel like I already need you.
I know what works with kids.
You moved here and you found community.
I will spend the rest of my life just exploring this island.
You are intending to live a life that you don't need a vacation from.
Parenting was the hardest job in the world.
Wow. So you're a parenting coach.
I am.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
Well,
I feel like I already need you, but let's
I know,
keep
right?
talking. Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
right? Parent coaching is relatively new, but there's lots of us out there to support families because, as the Surgeon General had said back in February, parents' mental health and well-being, 48% of parents are stressed and overwhelmed.
Wow. One moment. 48% of parents, so that's almost half of the parents out there are what? Overwhelmed?
Completely
so
overwhelmed.
So it's not only that we're stressed, just like...
It's complete overwhelm.
Wow.
It's complete overwhelm.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And you know, what I tell people is, so you're okay though to hire someone to the gym as a coach to help you learn how to lift weights properly?
Yeah, we gotta have our physical trainer.
You gotta have your business coach when you're starting a new business.
We gotta
you
have
wanna
our
have a
business
nutrition coach, right?
Of course.
Well, why wouldn't you take the time, because your family's everything. Right? Your family is a living system that it impacts everyone in the family, right? So to have somebody support you and to turn that chaos into, because don't you want to enjoy this journey? We only have our kids under our roofs for about 18 to 20 years. Now, we'll never stop being parents, but that's the time. And so do you want to spend that stressed out? And then what are we showing them? Or maybe the child is struggling, maybe the parent is struggling, right? It's a whole family dynamic that could really use support today, especially with the chaos in the world on top of everything else.
Yes,
right?
I completely agree with you. So is this like the new phenomenon? Is this taking over from therapy? Or is
I think it should.
Okay.
You know, I think it should. I get some referrals from lawyers and from therapists. I get clients referred to me because they don't necessarily specifically focus on parenting issues. I was a single mother for 16 years. I was an elementary school teacher for 30 years, and I still currently run an after-school program with almost 90 kids.
Wow.
I know what works with kids, right? So, and I transitioned from teaching to parent coaching because I realized the kids I can go good with the kids. I can work hard. We do stuff and make progress Monday to Friday. And then they go home on the weekend.
And then they get all messed up.
And then they come back and we start again on Monday, right?
Oh my gosh. So what is it that kids need?
Kids need absolutely a present parent, a calm, emotionally regulated parent, a nurturing parent, a parent that also sets boundaries. It's not a free-for-all that you hear about the gentle parenting. No, we don't just all let them run over you. No. But they need to feel your calmness. They need to feel connected. They need to feel attached. That attachment piece is huge. And they need a model to those emotional regulation skills. That's how we teach them, right?
That is so interesting. Now, you didn't say anything about discipline.
Discipline it comes from the word disciple, which means the student. So we're teaching them. Discipline is teaching them. What I want parents to remember, all behavior is communication. Your kid needs something. Your kid's not trying to give you a hard time. They're not trying to do that. They're having a hard time. And
they're really not trying to make our lives. Are you sure?
Listen, if they've been trained to know that they get a reaction by doing that, then yes. But originally, when they're young, they're having a hard time. They are missing a need, they're missing a skill, or they're missing some sort of connection. And that's all behavior is a form of communication. Yes, we don't like it, because here's the other part of kids. They're going to trigger us.
Yeah.
They're going to mirror us, and they're going to trigger us. And that's part of our personal journey as a parent. And when you think about it, how did we learn how to parent? How our parents parented us.
Our parents.
And what did they know? A whole lot of nothing, right? About brain development, about emotional regulation, about social skills. They didn't know anything. So, and that's all we got to go on.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I totally agree with what you're saying, because I see that in raising my own children that they are mirror images of me, especially my daughter.
Yeah.
She's 12. So I see her like impatient with her little brother, or cutting him off, or just kind of snapping at him and everything.
Yep.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then she's like, well, you do it. I mean, she literally told me, and then it was
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
And I immediately started looking at myself in the mirror and actually literally paying attention to myself. And I thought, you know what? I didn't
Yeah.
even realize it.
And we
that maybe I
don't.
was coming home just, just at the end of the day, just short on patience,
Yep.
or short on attention, or not really like looking at them or paying attention
Present.
to the present.
That
Yeah,
presence. That
exactly.
They need that presence, Cheryl.
Exactly.
And listen, and we all do it. We all got to work, man. Like we all have our
Yeah.
stressors. And I don't want parents to think, oh my gosh, I got to spend 3 hours a day with my kid. No, bud.
No.
15 minutes of true connection and not asking them to do anything, not needing anything from them. Just 15 minutes a day of that one-on-one connection with each child is, I'll tell you, it'll change
Yeah,
change
and
your
it
life.
makes a big difference.
Huge difference.
I thought at first that I would need to spend a lot of time with them, because it seemed like they were requesting a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the amount of time, it was really the quality.
Absolutely.
So now I know that I can spend time with them, but time with them, for them, dedicated to them, focused on them.
Yeah.
And then, half the time after, like you said, about 15 minutes, they go off.
They
and
want to
do-
go do their own thing
Yeah,
anyway.
they do. And
Yeah.
then it's like, done.
Yeah.
And that was a very well spent 15
It's
minutes.
so valuable. It's so
Yeah.
valuable. And parents say, oh, I don't have time.
Yeah, but
But-
we had kids.
Yeah.
That's my husband tells me. He's like, you wanted kids. And I'm like, I know.
But it's overwhelming. Like, literally, I thought I knew what I was doing when I had my kids. I was teaching for 10 years. I read all the books. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know. I got this. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no. No one prepares you to not. I looked at my husband when my son was a newborn. I said, am I ever going to finish anything ever again? Is that ever going to happen? Like, I mean, finish a laundry, like from the washer to the dryer to the folding.
But
Is
it's
that
never
ever going to happen?
finished, because at the end of the day, you take off your socks.
Yeah, I
And then
know.
there
But
you
I
go.
mean, but 10 years before that, right? I was 30 when I had my kids. So 10 years before that, I was able to do that in a day, right? I mean, and then it just goes on and on. It's over consuming, right? And I guess that's the other part that I want parents to understand, is it's really important to take also 15 minutes for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you say, when you come home from work, like, let the kids
The
know.
decompress.
The decompress, right? That my father used to say that as a kid. I didn't know what he was talking about, but he's like, come in the door and we're all at him and yeah, and he's like, I just need time to unwind.
Yes.
And we knew, okay, leave dad alone. But then it was at him filling that cup, because if we don't have a full cup, we got nothing for the kids, and we're modeling for them.
Yes.
Right? We're modeling. They're watching us, as you said, right?
Yeah. Copy paste.
Right? So
Yes.
what do you want to model? When we take time for ourselves, for our mental health, for our physical health, to figure out what we need, and we fulfill our needs, people say, oh, well, that's selfish as a mother. I'm never going to do that. Listen, you're modeling your worthiness
Yes.
to your child. Don't you want your child to feel worthy?
Yes.
Of course you do. They're never going to learn that unless they see it and hear it and feel it and smell it.
Why don't we do that? What
Because
is
it was
What
never
is it?
modeled for us.
Is that what it is?
Absolutely.
So we need to break a cycle?
We have to definitely break a cycle. It was never modeled for us. Think about, mothers, my generation, my mother, she was expected to work full time, run the home fully, cook all the meals, right? What? Right? And the father was like, you go out and you work all the 12-hour days and make all the money. Where was the hobbies? Where was that downtime? Where was the exercise? Where was the meditation? Where was none of that ever? I mean, come on, you say meditation 30 years ago. What are people going to say to you? Right?
Woo-woo, woo-woo.
Woo-woo.
Yeah.
Right? Just sitting and breathing.
Yeah.
But now in the schools, I know when I was in the schools, I would teach my kids mindfulness. I didn't call it meditation in case everybody thought that was too woo-woo, but just taking 10 minutes every afternoon to just sit and quiet. And listen, after a month, if I forgot, my students were saying, Miss,
Like,
I was
when are we gonna
doing
do-"
my
Yeah.
mindfulness, right?
Yes.
And it really, really helps them calm their nervous system, because I think something else that people aren't talking about, and I know I got stuck in this, when you're running 16-hour days with your kids and your job and your business and all of these things, you're almost constantly in fight or flight, but it becomes so normal for your body that you don't notice that you're in fight or flight
Well,
all the
that's why
time.
I think a
it's
lot
not
of
just
people
when you're yelling,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What if your next investment placed you in the heart of nature, where mountains, waterfalls, and opportunity came together? Welcome to Legacy Beaches, a premier development in the Dominican Republic. Set against breathtaking mountains, waterfalls, just minutes from the beach, this high-growth area is attracting major investors. Secure premium land lots now with significant appreciation potential in just 30 months. Own a piece of this paradise. Invest in Legacy Beaches today. Click the link in the description to learn more.
So when we think about being in fight or flight, a lot of people think that somebody's completely dysregulated, they're yelling, they're screaming, and yes, that is part of it. But when we're so busy and we're working 16-hour days and we're jobs and running business and taking care of kids and cooking and cleaning and all that stuff, sometimes our body can just be in that state of fight or flight, and you don't even notice it. Your nervous system is just always on point, and you don't notice it because it's become a normal feeling for you. And I know this because I've been through it. When my children got older and they're not around all the time and they're, out of the house and doing their teenage things with their jobs and this and that, I remember going, okay, there's something wrong. I should be doing something. What is missing? I didn't know what to do with myself.
Was it because you were just so used to
I was
always
so
running?
used to always running 16-hour days, depending if we had dance and soccer and drama and, and then my other businesses, it was just nonstop. So it's really important for adults and children to find those ways to regulate that nervous system, to calm that fight or flight.
Okay, so we're dealing with fight or flight. We're working 16-hour days. You have all the activities and everything going on. Let's say that you could go back to the beginning. What would you do different? Would you have fewer activities, work less? Would you make different decisions about your schedule?
Absolutely. No question.
Okay.
I'd go to bed earlier.
Okay.
I know a lot of us moms, I know you moms out there, you do this too. After the kids go to bed, you're going to stay up late and watch Netflix, aren't you? Yeah, you do. You know what we call that? Revenge sleep.
Revenge
sleep. You just need your time. Because as a mom, especially when they're young, like you don't get any of your time. So like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay up really late. And, then how you feeling in the morning?
Oof.
Like bad. And then how does that day go for you, right?
Oof.
So I would have gone to bed a bit earlier, would have woken up a bit earlier so I could have that time at the beginning of the day to take a breath, be grateful for things that are happening in my day. I do have a gratitude reset on my podcast for moms, just to, and I would have reduced some of the activities. It was hard for me as a single mom. I had to also ask for support. I needed help. I couldn't be at dance and hockey at the same time. I had to rely on family and friends and support network around me, and in order to get them what they needed. Because I had that guilt of, well, I'm a single mother. I had that determination, like, well, just because I'm a single mother doesn't mean my kids aren't going to be doing this and this, right?
Okay, they were going to do everything.
They were going to do all the things, but I would have found more time for myself to just even connect with myself. Now my kids are 19 and 21, and my daughter's out of the house, my son's at university, and I'm like, when that happened, I didn't even know what I wanted to eat for breakfast.
Wow.
I was like, what? Where's me? What's,
Yeah.
and it's for me to lose myself like that. And I know a lot of moms feel like that they're losing their identity if they give so much to the kids. It's really not giving them that much because your cup's empty, really.
Wow.
Right? Like I said earlier, isn't it better for you to model showing yourself your worthiness and talking about that? Like, listen, mom can't be here right now because I'm going to take a walk for 15 minutes in the nature, in the woods. I'm just going to go sit at the beach for a few minutes, right? And once you model that, then they will begin to do the same thing. Anything you model. That's probably one of the most powerful parenting tools is modeling. Anything you model, they're going to do.
Okay.
Good or bad.
So, yeah, that is really true because I stay up late and the kids don't want to go to bed.
Yep.
Yeah, and even my younger son used to fall asleep early and now he's up late now. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
So maybe I rubbed off on him in the wrong way some. So. I need to just go to bed earlier.
Don't feel guilt though.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't feel, I don't ever want parents to feel guilty. I used to say that parenting was the hardest job in the world, but I spoke to another parent coach and she said, no, Natalie, it's not a job, because a job is something, sometimes you're dragging your ass to get there and you're just going for the paycheck and all of this stuff. So I was like, you're right. That doesn't feel right, because I don't want parenting to be a job. What she said is, it's a practice. We're practicing every day. We're practicing, you know, because I've never parented a 2-year-old before, and then I never parented a 10-year-old before. You know, as your kids are growing, we've never had that experience to parent that age of child, you know? And when you think you get good at those ages, well, then the next one comes along, they got a completely different personality. You got to switch that all up.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like I say, there's a ton of parenting research out there. There's Instagram influencers. There's amazing books. But what I want to say, I think it's overwhelming now for parents, and not every one of those tips, tricks, and strategies are going to work for your individual family or for your individual child. That's why I always say, hire a parent coach, because as a parent coach, I get to know your individual family, your individual child. Then I can tailor those approaches for your specific family, rather than you watching 10 Instagram videos and saying, okay, I got this, with your kid trying a strategy and then it doesn't work, it crashes and burns, and then you're more overwhelmed and you're more frustrated and you're going to look for another book.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's really interesting because it sounds like it's not even really like down to the core what you do with the child. It's really what you do with yourself.
It's what you
and that's
bring.
the big aha for me. I know for me, as I got better with them, they got better with me. Really.
It's how it works, right? It's how it works. And so as parents, we have to be willing to look at it in the mirror, but we have to have that compassion for ourselves, because we're doing the best we can with the tools that we have. Right? I mean, because like when you have kids, nobody's giving you a toolbox. I really believe that parents love their kids, and I think that it's with some coaching, with some support, and I believe if families with young children, if every parent had the support they needed and the knowledge that they needed, that's how we change the world.
Wow.
Because the justice system wouldn't be filled up like it would. The physical health of people is better when their emotional health is better. The education system wouldn't be crumbling the way it is right now. That's why I left, right? Every system would be better with productive citizens that were able to emotionally regulate and have social skills, and parents that knew about brain science and, you know, all of these things.
So brain science, I mean, there's so many things running through my mind, and we're going to get to your move from Canada, Nova Scotia, to Punta Cana. But you talk about brain. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what is that? What is going on?
So it started when my kids were really young. So I was a school teacher and kind of a nerd. So when they're babies, I literally studied them, Cheryl. Like, here's me. I'm watching them, man.
Really?
I got a notepad, because I wanted to know, how are they learning this? What's going through their little brain when they're stuck in those blocks and stuff? You know, like I was just enamored by it. And
questions of an educator, right? You're an educator, so how do they learn?
How do they learn? How are they processing the language that I'm using with them? Like, just absolutely everything. And it really is interesting to see it. Now, it's all the ages and stages. So developmentally, from 0 to 5, they don't have all of the language, right? But they have all of the feeling. They have that vibe. They know the emotion. They just don't have ways to express it.
Right.
And so it's our job to help them, because when they hit the 2s and the no's, the 2s and 3s, their brain's going through a complete reconstruction. Like, absolutely huge. They have more brain cells than us put together, and it's just constant learning. So we need to be able to help them navigate that, and the big emotions are going to come up. But we need to know how are we going to handle that? How are we going to co-regulate? How are we going to show them what that calmness looks and feels like, right? So, because they need to learn that skill of calming their brain. If they're never taught that from 0 to 5, well, that's going to only escalate and get worse and worse and worse. right? Until they become a teenager. Then their brain restructures again when they hit puberty.
Oh, really?
Oh, buddy, the whole,
Yeah.
remember I said
Yes.
my books for toddlers to teens? Some of the strategies I used for myself to keep myself calm when my kids were screaming and when they were toddlers and I'm by myself, I got no backup, no tag team. When my son is yelling in my face and he's 16, I used some of the same strategies I used when he was a toddler to calm myself, right? Because I needed to hold it together. And I had to remember, Natalie, his brain is completely restructuring. Frontal lobe is not developed. So we have the limbic part of our brain, that's our fight or flight, our emotional, our amygdala goes wild. I teach this to my kids in class. And then we have our frontal lobe is the decision maker. This is the part that makes logical decisions. Well, when you're out of sorts, when you're fight or flight, those two parts of your brain do not communicate. Oh. They cannot communicate. So when you say to kid, now you need to calm down, now you need to do that, honey, they're not hearing you.
Okay.
Not happening. Okay. Wasting your oxygen. No point. Until they're calm, they're not going to hear you.
So give me an example of one of your tips or tricks or like one of the tools that you have for dealing with
that. You want an age group? Because it's different for different age groups.
No, the oldest.
Pick the age,
the oldest.
The teenagers.
Yeah, that's what I can use right at the moment.
Yeah. So for me, we have to regulate ourselves first, right?
Okay.
We have to take that time. So the one I used to use from when they were toddlers that I did use when they were teens, obviously some deep breathing.
Yes.
If you have to step out for a minute, fine. But the voices and the screaming as the toddlers and the teenager, that they can say things that just make the hairs
Yes.
stand up. I know.
Yes, we know that, don't we? Don't we know that?
Oh, we know. And we got to get the last word in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my breathing technique was, the few deep breaths, and then I would close my eyes, and the noise, so I had to think of his words as noise. Like, as a toddler, it is noise. It's just screeching, but it makes your hair stand up, right?
Right.
I would close my eyes and visualize that noise. I would imagine that I was transparent and that noise was going through me and not stopping at my ego and upsetting me.
Okay.
And breathe through that, and then I could just, once they calm, there's no point in trying to make any reparations or having them hear what you're saying when they're not calm. So then I just needed myself to remain calm, wait for them to have their time to calm, and then we come back and say, hey, man, what happened? Right? What can we do better here?
That's true, because many times when we come back later, when we've calmed down from that emotional moment or those emotional moments, we are in a different frame of mind. Even once we sleep on it.
Oh, huge.
It's
important that we take that time. And then if it is us as a parent, that maybe we screwed up. Because I want parents to know it's okay to make mistakes. If you never made a mistake, then how would you teach your child how to repair that mistake?
True.
Right? When we make mistakes, it's up to us to go back then and say, hey, man, I could have dealt with that way better.
Yes.
And, I apologize. How can I fix this for the next time, et cetera, et cetera. So think about what are you teaching them then? You're teaching them how to deal with difficulty and conflict in their lives as they mature. Mm-hmm. We are giving them life skills by showing them being authentic and real and vulnerable about that. Yeah, I'm making mistakes, but here I want to fix this mistake. I want to reestablish that connection with you, because all our kids really want is connection. They don't need all the activities, the toys, the stuff, the video games. They don't need it. All they truly, madly, deeply need is a true connection, to feel seen, to feel heard and connected, and be able to be their true, authentic selves.
I love that.
Hi, this is Brian Scott Smith. I'm here in Dominican Republic. I'm at the Las Flores Hotel here in Punta Cana. I am one of the veterans that have gone through the actual program. We've had a lot of veterans come through this program already, and I'm here to tell you that if you want to get better health and wellness, if you want to come here and get some of this sunshine and fresh, clean air, click the link below and we'll have someone get back in contact with you.
So Natalie, after being a teacher for 30 years, how did you actually get into parent coaching? Is that something new?
It is relatively new. It feels like to me. I think on the East Coast of Canada, not many people know what parent coaching is. I think they think I'm super nanny, going to come into their house, tell them what they're doing wrong, and and genuinely make them feel bad. That's not what coaches do. We're there to support. We're there to help. But what I noticed in the school system, and I was in and out for 30 years because I would run my own after-school program, but I noticed the stress of the parents. Like I said, I worked with the kids. We work Monday to Friday. We'd have a great time, get those behaviors right down. They're good. And then they go home on the weekend. And on Monday, we're starting again. Right? And the stress of the parents, they didn't have the skills. They didn't have the knowledge. They didn't know what to do to help themselves. So I thought, you know what? Let me now focus on helping the parents, because that way I know I'm helping the kids too.
That's very true, because not only are my kids like a mini me, but all the kids in their classrooms are just like their parents as well. You can almost expect when you see, you know, different things and different kids with different characteristics, and then you see their parents, you could almost match them with their parents without even knowing whose parents, because the kids are just,
they have some of those same, because they're being modeled to. The most powerful tool, right? And as parents, you want to think about, what do you want to model?
We have to remember that, though, and get out of our heads, or get out of that moment when we may feel stressed, or when we may want to react, and just like take it down a level, take it down
a level,
a notch.
And again, that's a practice.
It's like a muscle thing. It's like a habit.
Absolutely.
To go into the house, and I'm much better about that now. Like when I walk in the house, it's like, boom, mom mode, kids, they scream, they jump on me, and sometimes I need those few minutes, and sometimes I don't. Because sometimes I take them before I come into the house.
Yes, that's a great strategy.
Yeah, my kids would tell me, they were like, you've been sitting out in the car for 15 minutes. I'm like, I had to finish a couple of things, because I knew that when I would walk in the door, I wouldn't want to ask for that transition time. I already had it in the parking lot. So I walk in the house like, hey,
mom's here.
Yeah. And then
works in the car.
Yeah. And that works. So that could be another little thing as well. So you have this parent coaching business, and so you had it before you moved to
I was trained a couple of years ago through the Parent Coaching Institute in Chicago, and it's important. I'd want parents to know, if you do want to hire a parent coach, check what their training is.
Yes.
Because just check what their training is. So the Parent Coaching Institute, you have to have a degree that you've worked with children before, and it's master's level. I could have kept going with a master's with these courses, and it's 100 hours of free coaching, so almost as much as a counselor would have in their training. So that was super, super valuable. And so then I decided, okay, now I'm more transient, flexible. I can coach parents in the United States, or in Canada, or here in the DR.
Okay, so now we have to hear the story about how you got to the DR.
Well, that goes back, 1925 Sicily. No, my first trip here was like 25 years ago to a resort.
Really?
Once.
25 years ago?
Yes, there was no highways. There was that's a whole other story for a different podcast, I swear.
There might not even been Punta Cana back 25.
The airport, I think, was just built in Punta Cana. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the resort we went to wasn't here. It was, I think, Bahi Bay.
Yes.
And my friend, I'll tell you the snippet of the story, shorten it. We got off the plane, and everybody else is getting on the big tour buses, right? But I had bought the tickets through iTravel 2000, internet tickets for planes had just come out. And so we're there, and nobody's got a sign for us. It's 2:00 in the morning, and we're at the Punta Cana airport. It was a sleeping guy in a van, in a little white van, just there to pick up the two of us.
Wow.
And then we had an hour drive to the resort through all the campos and no highway, right?
No.
And we'd never left the country, Cheryl, right?
So
we're like 20
I imagine you were scared.
Oh man, we were scared. We were like, what's happening? But we knew cerveza, por favor. So Buddy pulled over. We got beer. We're like, okay, we're going to get there. We get to the resort 3:00 in the morning. Wrong resort.
Oh.
So then we're having another panic attack. Anyway, it turned out fine. We happened to be dropped off at the resort next door. So, but I fell in love with the beaches. I fell in love with the culture. Then 15 years ago, a friend of mine moved down here from Canada, and she was living here full time. And I was a single mother, and the kids were away for March break, and I said, I'm coming to visit. I came down. I said, oh boy, fell in love again. So that started a 15-year, every year coming with my kids.
15 years in a row.
I missed one or two, depending. But it was my mission every year. It was my kids' March break. We would come here, we would rent a condo in the area, and because I didn't want to take my children to a resort. I don't like resorts. I wanted my children to walk to the grocery store with me. I wanted my children to go to the Colmado. I wanted my kids to come with me to Higüey and the market. For me as a teacher, it was like a learning experience
Yes.
about this culture, right? I don't need them seeing mommy sitting on the beach at a resort drinking Mai Tais. No, like let's really experience this culture and this amazing place. So I just continued to do that. When they grew, and they are off on their own, basically doing their own thing, I was like, well, where do you want to be? You know, and I'd come here for so many years, I said, I better check out a few islands, a few other ones, you know, just to make sure. Girl, I checked out Barbados and Aruba and Dominica and Bonaire and like Jamaica, Grand Cayman, all of them.
You went everywhere.
I went to all these places, just, you know, and not one of them held a candle to here. Not
They
one of
don't
them.
compare.
They do not compare. I'm so excited. I will spend the rest of my life just exploring this island.
Yes.
There is so much to see because all of those 15 years I didn't have a lot of time to explore.
Yes.
You know, or the financial, as a single mother, you know, oh, we're not just renting a car and driving to wherever, up the North Coast,
Yeah.
right? So now I'm just so excited that
And there are a lot of waterfalls. There
So
are
much.
Yeah, there is
jungle,
so much, yes.
desert, like
Yes.
the western side of the island. My friend and I were there. He was like, this looks like Southern California. We were at another part on the western side of the island. I said, this looks like Cape Breton Island in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Now, different, obviously, temperature, color of the water, and trees. But, you know, the mountain drive and the highways, if anybody wants to look up Cape Breton Island and then down around Bajarona, I swear to you, like I have pictures. I was like, this is crazy. It feels like home. So I feel like I have two homes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful. So you went all of those places and nowhere compared.
Not even close.
So
Nope.
what is it about the Dominican Republic and Punta Cana? Like, what is it?
Well, there's so many things. All the stuff we just mentioned, how I can spend the rest of my life exploring this island, right? I mean, never going to get bored around here, ever. There's so much to see, so many beaches to explore. The lushness of the beautiful, the palm trees, the just everything, it's just so green and gorgeous. And then the fresh fruit and the fresh vegetables, like that, some of those islands, they get their stuff trucked in. I'm like, what? Where's my, you know, plantain trees and where's the avocado trees and where's the mango trees? You know, here, right? Like, you know, why, I mean, some of these other islands don't have any of that.
Right.
Right? And the culture. I love the culture. Oh my gosh, Dominican people are great. I'll tell you what, they're singing everywhere. They're singing at work at the grocery store, they're singing on the bus, they're singing walking down the road. Like, and when you're trying to learn Spanish, which I'm doing the focused effort, taking 2 classes a week, trying to learn my Spanish.
Excellent.
Unlike some other cultures where you're trying to learn the language, the Dominicans, they'll help you.
Yes.
Right? They'll help you. They might have a little chuckle if you really mess up something bad, but that's okay. It's funny, right? But
Yes.
they're so accommodating and would just help you with anything, not just language, you know, like if you need help, they're right there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And then you said that you've been other places around the country. So within the Dominican Republic, why Punta Cana?
And for me, it's everything is here.
Okay.
You know, the expat community, because I don't have my Spanish yet, I'm basically in the expat community, and it's close-knit. Cheryl, it's that sense of community that I was missing at home in Nova
Okay.
Scotia. You know, I'm a single woman, I'm busy, but here, there's people of all ages from all over the world, and with similar interests that are all easygoing, that, you know, love to go to dinner, or, you know, just go listen to live music, and it's a sense of community. It really feels like home.
That's beautiful. So you come from Canada, you moved here, and you found community.
Yeah.
You're comfortable here.
Very.
But for those out there who think, I need to learn Spanish, is it safe?
It is absolutely safe in this area, especially this area of the expat community. I mean, you follow the same rules as you follow in any big city.
Exactly.
You aren't out late super drunk.
Yes.
Alone.
Don't go out late super drunk, right?
Well, would you do that in New York? Would you do that in Philly? You know, you wouldn't even do that in my tiny little town of Halifax.
Right.
You just don't. So
And
don't
if
be
you
stupid.
do and something happens, is it the fault of the country?
It is absolutely not the fault of
Right.
the country.
So you don't
right?
do that.
There's the guns aren't they're not prevalent around here at all. People just don't carry them.
You're not hearing about shootings
Nope.
every day?
Nope. You're not even hearing the ambulances that you hear
No.
in some cities. You know, like
Right.
it's just not like that. I mean, security's tight, but it's not like it's. I feel comfortable as a single woman to walk around this neighborhood in the evening.
Yes.
No problem.
Because there are a lot of people doing it, especially here close to the beach. A lot of folks are renting Airbnbs. They don't have cars. They're walking up and down the street to get to the restaurants
Yeah.
or to the beach. So you're not even just alone walking on the streets. There are other people walking home from restaurants or
Yeah.
going to restaurants.
And I used to come here with my kids, guys. Like I felt safe here with my kids. We started coming, they were 5 and 7.
Yeah.
You know, and just me and the kids going down the street with our little bags of groceries, you know.
Nice.
Just like, I mean, it bothers me that, you know, people think that it's not safe here. They have to come and they have to see.
I think it's just that it's different and unknown. I think that because you have been coming here all these years, you knew that it was safe.
Yeah.
But it's the unknown.
It is.
Because sometimes when you talk to folks, it's literally more dangerous where they are.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is dangerous, but I think it's really just a fear of the unknown.
Yeah. And I think also, well, it comes to expectations. You know, what would I tell people if they want to move here? Leave your expectations at home.
Oh,
I love the slow pace here. You can't expect to have everything you have in North America done like this, on this time schedule, blah, blah, blah. No, leave that home. Why don't you sit down, relax, and enjoy another culture?
Yes.
Enjoy how it's done here. The other thing I love about being here is how it slowed me down. Talk about slow down the nervous system, buddy. Everything's todo tranquilo.
I love that.
Right?
Was that hard though? Was that a challenge for you?
It took some time, but I worked on it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I made a conscious effort.
I totally know what you mean.
I had to make a conscious effort to slow it down, but what a gift it's been to my life, you know? I get to now slow down and enjoy every palm tree I look at and all the different kinds. You know, I get to enjoy the birds and the flowers and the beach and, you know, sand between my toes. Who doesn't want that? You know, when I came here, I wanted to live a life I don't need a vacation from.
Wow. That is incredible. So you are intending to live a life that you don't need a vacation from. That's very, very, very deep.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. And I think that many people who have a hard time adapting, it's because they're not intentional about slowing down.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're not comfortable, they're not okay with it, they don't want it.
And it's different.
It is different.
Yeah.
And that is what makes this environment so beautiful.
That's right.
So I love hearing you say that you came with the intention to kind of go with the flow and slow down and appreciate more.
Absolutely.
And I literally feel like when I moved here and I started that slowing down, I felt like I was adding years onto my life.
Absolutely.
I felt like, because when you're on that, you know, like you said, when you get numb and you get like into that routine, that when there's a moment of silence, you're like, is something wrong?
Yeah.
How are we actually running our lives
That's
when a
the
moment
stress.
of silence feels wrong?
Well, I got a little story that you probably don't know because it wasn't on my website. My parents passed away when they were 50 and 53.
Wow.
And that was back in 1998 and 2000. So I was young, right? Next year I'll be 53. I'll be definitely older than what my parents were, what they lived to be. And so for me, it's extra important.
Yeah.
I did not want to spend the next 15 years of my working career running the rat race, complaining about the weather, listening to everyone else complain about the traffic and the this and the that. Now, not saying we don't complain about a few things around here too. Everybody does.
Nothing's perfect.
However, right, there's so much more to be appreciative of. There's so much more to be grateful of. The Dominican culture is grateful and appreciate everything, you know, like it's just, and that stress, literally, both my parents died of cancer.
Wow.
And I totally believe stress causes cancer.
I believe that it's all about stress. That's why I felt like I was doing something good for my health
Yeah.
by taking that stress down. And
Yeah.
for you, I'm sure it's probably even more impactful now that you're reaching the age where
Huge.
your parents left this earth.
Yeah.
And they were very young. I mean,
they were
you
very
probably
young.
know now more than ever that
Absolutely.
there's a million things still left to do.
Yeah.
We have a lot of life to live.
Absolutely.
So we need to live
Live
and
it.
right.
That's what it comes down to. Live it. Live it. What
best
are you
way to
running the rat race for, right? Is that going to serve you? Is that going to serve your kids? Your kids are not going to remember that, you cooked a home cooked meal every night and that, you bought them all this fancy crap for Christmas. They're not going to remember any of that. They're going to remember the times you were present
Yes.
and connected with them and you had a laugh and you
Yes.
played a game of cards or you walked on the beach or you
Yes.
played volleyball. Like that's what
The
they will
love.
remember, the love and the connection.
Yes.
And in order to give that fully, again, I got to go back. You have to give it to yourself first.
Yes.
So you have some left to give
Some
to your kids.
gasoline
You
in the
need the
tank.
gas in the tank.
Yeah.
It's all about the tank.
I love
But then when everybody's tank is full,
Woo!
then
happy family, happy life.
That's right.
You have that smile and that glow about you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I want all families to have. I want them to enjoy their parenting journey and their practice. And if I can support them, even better.
Wow. So I know that your children are now adults and you moved here on your own without them, although you visited here with them.
Yeah.
Would you have considered actually raising them here, or what would you say for parents as a parent coach about raising their children or moving to Punta Cana
Yeah.
while their children are still young?
I tried for years.
Oh, you
Move here.
tried?
Oh, yes. As a teacher, I applied to an international school here. My kids were at that time 7 and 9, perfect age. And I was so excited. I got to the second interview because I was thinking the opportunities for them to go to an international school, for them to have Spanish, the sports, the dance, everything that kids are interested in is all here and all available
Yes.
for kids.
Yes.
So they would be missing out on nothing and have this amazing cultural experience and an excellent education and accredited schools and get the language. I was like, this is win-win situation. Can't wait, right?
Right?
Got to the second interview. Talked to my ex-husband. He said, no, you're not taking my kids to a third world country. I was like, what? I mean, I sent him the website of the school, the Cap Cana, come on. There's nothing third world about some of the areas around
So
here,
he
okay?
had rights or something?
He couldn't, I couldn't leave the country without his permission.
Okay.
But I said, okay, well, he wasn't working at the time. We need income. I got a job offer coming here. And so I said, okay, well, then you have the kids stay with you. Oh, no, he said, they need their mother. I said, yeah, exactly.
They need their mother.
They need their mother. Yeah, no, because you can't handle them full time. Do you know what I mean? But that would have been an incredible opportunity for my kids. I was disappointed that that didn't work out because I tried. As every year I'd come back from my vacation and go kind of and I think some of your listeners would, if that come here on vacation, would relate to this. When you go back home to freezing cold and a couple of feet of snow, you fall into quite a depression for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
That depression of like, I just sat at my desktop computer. How am I going to get back? How am I going to get back? How am I going to do
Wow.
this? Right? Because you just go from the beautiful, every time I get on the plane when I leave, I look at the sun and I say, I'll see you soon.
Yes.
Right?
It's different
I miss
here.
you.
Yeah.
Right? The sky color, we don't see that in Nova Scotia. And then you go home to the gray skies and it's depressing. Mm-hmm. I had a student from Brazil. I used to take in international students when my kids were young. To have a male in the house, like a teenage boy for my son, right, to look up to. And I had a young boy from northern Brazil. It was super warm in northern Brazil, right? So he was there with me for the whole month of September. And he looked at me at the end of the first month in Nova Scotia. He said, Natalie, where is the sun?
Oh.
He didn't see the sun. He didn't think he was
Where
going to
is
see the
the-
sun.
Oh.
He was genuinely like worried that he was not going to be seeing this sun, right? And I was like, "Oh, Fabrizio, we're going to see it. Just sometimes we don't see it for 3 weeks or 4 weeks."
I cannot imagine that anymore.
I know.
I literally cannot. And I grew up and went to high school in the Pacific Northwest,
Yeah.
in Tacoma, Washington, and it can be gloomy there for days on end. And after being here for 20 years, literally, if it is overcast for more than one day, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah, where's the
Like
sun?
one day.
Where's the vitamin D?
Yeah,
right?
I feel like something is different, and that's only during the rainy season. But yeah, the sunshine, the white clouds, the blue sky,
The blue is not like any blue. The blue of the water and the blue of the sky is
Yeah.
not like anything.
and the
It's-
sunsets.
To me, it's candy,
Yeah.
for my eyes. And after spending over 50 years in Canada, don't get me wrong, I love my Canada, but I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to be cold anymore.
Yes.
I want to have candy for my eyes because my life is able to slow down. This place just forces you, not forces, but you just automatically become appreciative.
You do.
And grateful for every single thing around you. I say to my friends, I'll never get sick of this. I never will get sick of this.
You know what? You will get accustomed to it, which is good.
Yeah.
So I would say, from my experience, it's good to always be intentional,
Mm-hmm.
because after a while, you can kind of just
Take it
kinda
for
get
granted.
used to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. And so for me, I really love being with people who are seeing and experiencing this new,
Yeah.
because then it refreshes me. Like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is like hearing you talk about not seeing the sun. I mean, I used to live like that. Now I'm very used to seeing the sun.
Yeah.
One day without the sun, I feel different. So, but in overall and in general, it's good for us. And we should always be intentional anyway,
Absolutely.
and never forget what we should be grateful for, right? Like, it's a
Absolutely.
daily practice, like you said, practice.
Practice.
We have to do it regularly. I'm thankful for the sun. And my kids do that. I laugh
Yes.
because they're like, I'm thankful for the sun. I'm thankful for food. I'm thankful for water.
That's your powerful modeling tool, Cheryl, right? Like we want to, I just recorded an episode about teaching our kids how to be grateful, right? I mean, that's a skill they're going to take for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it'll help their mental health and it'll help
Yes.
their self-esteem. And
Yes.
that's what we want for them.
Yeah.
Because we love them so much, little buggers.
Yeah, it's something really so simple.
So
Even
simple.
those things, like at first I was like, that's too easy. Like, give me something like deep. But you know what?
That is the deepest you can
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Why not be thankful for the food that we have, or for the sunshine or the water,
Yeah.
or for having a roof over our heads?
Yep.
So it's something now. At first they had a hard time. Like, I can't think of anything. My daughter was like, I can't think of anything. Now it's like, give me 10 things. And they go down the list. And it's a mix of some of those things and also things from the day or their experiences from the day. So it's a
Yeah.
practice.
It is.
I really love that. I'm really going to take that with me.
Yeah,
Thank you for
awesome.
that. So Natalie, with your expertise in parenting and now seeing parenting in 2 different countries and 2 different cultures, what would you say are the biggest differences you see with parenting in Canada versus parenting in the Dominican Republic?
Definitely has to be support.
Oh,
In Canada, and the level of isolation, right?
Okay.
In Canada, we're isolated families. You live in an apartment building, you don't know your neighbors. And people I was a single mother. There's just I didn't have family. The support system, you just feel very isolated, right? Unless you actually reach out and create that community, it's not just there.
Yep.
People are, complaining, they're running, then dropping at daycare
Yeah.
and picking up at daycare and just on that, that fast moving sort of treadmill. What I see here, and it's definitely the Dominican culture, families first.
yes.
Family and support is absolutely everything, and people will do anything to help each other, especially in families.
Yeah.
And I think because that is so pervasive in the culture, that spreads to, like I said, to the expat community. Like, I know I could call people if I needed help, or,
Yes.
there's expat moms groups that get together that help each other, so that just that idea of slowing down here, taking the time with the kids, and having that support network of family, that's the DR culture.
Yes.
And there's nothing better for families than to have that support and sense of community.
Yeah.
That's what
The
they
village.
need. The village, right?
Yeah.
We were never meant to do this alone in isolation in an apartment building by yourself. Never. That's not how we're wired. We're wired to want to help each other, have the extended
communal.
families, the abuelas and the aunties and the uncles, and and that's just how the Dominican culture is, and they value that so much. So when you come here as an expat, it has no choice but to seep into your world and your parenting. And what's wrong with that? I think it's beautiful,
wrong at all.
right?
Nothing wrong at all. And if you don't feel that way, you will get to feel that way, because if you're here, you're going to feel it and you're
Yeah.
going to absorb it. So it's good, I think, to be very open to it. I know some come and they struggle and they have a hard time, but in my opinion, it's because they're still trying to do the same things in the same way.
Yes.
But it just,
You can't, no.
No.
Like I said, leave your expectations in your home country, right? Be open to go with the flow and be curious. Instead of frustrated that somebody didn't show up at your house at the right time, well, it's okay.
yeah.
Go
It's an
just-
opportunity to maybe
do
get
something
something
else.
else done in the meantime, right?
Right? Like it's going to happen. You just have to let that. It's just letting it go, letting it fall away. And yes, so maybe some things are different here.
Yes.
But don't you expect that going to a different country?
Exactly.
If you went to Japan, do you expect to see the same things in the grocery stores you see in your home country?
You don't
No.
want to feel like you're still in Kansas,
No,
right? You don't.
You don't, and that you have to really reconcile and know that. And if you're coming here as a family, and both parents have to be on board on
Yeah,
how
these days.
how this is going to navigate and what challenges are going to be too much. Like, you have to have all of those conversations, and what ages are your kids, what they have to research the best area. There's so many diverse, beautiful areas around here. Like, that takes some research. You got to find somebody like you that can help them say, this community is probably best for your family because these are your values, these are your likes and wants and wishes, right?
And it exists. I mean,
it
there
does.
are areas that are better for the short-term rental. Like, we're like 2 steps from the beach.
Yeah.
But maybe this community isn't the greatest for raising children because people are in and out, vacationers. But then, for example, other residential communities with houses, individual homes, like on the golf course, kids are all over the place.
And soccer fields,
Yes.
pickleball, and
Yes.
there's, and everything in between,
Yes.
right? There's,
Yes.
everything is here. So
Yeah, my little guy, he'll ride his bike to soccer practice. That's right there in the same community.
Yeah.
Or he'll walk, and I don't feel like he's in any danger. I mean, he knows don't talk to strangers, but I don't worry about him. And he's 10 years old.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel really happy about that, because I'm not sure if there are many neighborhoods in the States where parents would feel comfortable letting their
kid go a couple of blocks away on a bike.
on their own.
Nowadays,
Nowadays, right.
Yeah, like
It's
when I
different
was
now.
growing up, right? Get out
Yeah.
and come back when the street lights come
Yeah,
on, right?
exactly. But that's how we grew up.
Yeah, but
These
the
days
world
are
is a
different.
different place. And yes, I mean, that's so important for kids, because what that gift that gives him is that sense of autonomy. Like, hey, mom trusts me, I'm going on my own. Kids need that. They
Yes.
don't need us helicoptering and doing everything for them, because that actually robs them of their sense of, I can do this,
Right.
their sense of autonomy. So they need that. You got to give them that little space, especially as teenagers. You got to give a little, right? Because that actually builds them up and
Yeah.
gives them that confidence. Who doesn't want a confident kid?
Exactly.
Right? But
So-
if you're, like you said, if you're in a community in the United States where you physically, it's not safe for them to go 3 blocks.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? They don't, when they're
You're
just,
going to worry.
yeah, you're going to
You're
worry.
going to worry or have stress about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Natalie, on the podcast, we normally take a question from one of our subscribers. So,
Sure.
let's go to the questions. Pick one of these, and I will ask
right.
you the question. Okay. Here we go. What is something about parenting you used to believe, but you no longer do?
Not everything in Punta Cana is about palm trees and paradise. Sometimes it's about a little girl walking barefoot to school with the biggest smile you've ever seen. It's about a rescued puppy wagging its tail for the first time. A U.S. veteran finally getting the care he deserves. and a group of volunteers planting trees to keep this island green for the next generation. This is what we do at Punta Cana Community Care Nonprofit Foundation. We help the children, we protect the environment, we support our U.S. veterans, and we care for animals because every one of them matters. We're a small foundation with a big heart, doing real work in the communities most visitors never see. But we can't do it alone. If you have a little extra money or just a big heart, we could use your help. Every dollar makes a difference. Punta Cana Community Care, because caring is contagious.
I'd have to say, I used to believe when I first had the kids that it was more about the physical needs, cooking the food, making sure that things are clean, the laundry, the this, the that, and that's not what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's about that attachment. Yes. It's about the connection. It's about giving them your calm. Mm-hmm. And nothing else matters. And I realized this when my parents passed away. There's nothing in life matters more than your relationships with people.
Wow.
Nothing. I mean, I held my mother's hand when she took her last breath.
Wow.
And nothing else matters. So the rest of it, guys, let it go.
Yes.
What are your values? What are your priorities? What are your intentions? Like
yes.
you said, right? It's really about those relationships, and who doesn't want to have an amazing relationship with their kids?
That is so important. Like literally drop the mic. And with my kids, what I do love, and it made me think about that, is sometimes I work from home. I have Zoom meetings or whatever, what have you. And they will just come in and they'll know that I'm in the middle of something and just give me a hug.
Yeah.
And then they'll leave.
That's awesome.
So it's, what I like is that, you know what, they're like, you know what, I just want to get that connection. It's good enough here. I know you're here, I'm here, and I'm good. Yeah. And then, when I'm done with the meeting, I'll go see what they're doing or whatever. But I like that. That's that connection, that love that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And also that they understand that, I'm in something right now, but it's okay to come give me a hug or to come grab my hand or something like that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And that's when I know that, I'm doing okay. You know, they don't get 100 hours a week, but they get quality.
That's all that matters. We can't give them 100 hours a week, Cheryl. We have to work. We have to do things. They understand that, and they also need their time to develop their personality.
Exactly.
And feel confident in what they're doing on their own, right?
Exactly.
But we always come back.
Yes.
Always come back to that connection.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Natalie. Tell us, how can all of those parents out there, because parents don't have to live in the DR or in Canada, they could live wherever
Anywhere.
Because you offer your services remotely as well.
Yes.
So how can all of the parents of the world who need coaching, not therapy, but coaching.
Not therapy, but coaching, coaching, that your thinking partner, think of it like that, right? Just to help you see what the situation is and how someone can help guide you through that, like somebody at the gym, like somebody with your business. What's more important to you? I think your family's most important,
and
right?
You know what's funny? I literally have a trainer who comes and works out with me every morning, and I have 2 different business coaches, but I do not have a parenting coach.
Right? Because people don't think about that. They don't.
I didn't even know it existed.
See? So we got to shout it from the rooftops, Cheryl. We got to shout it to the rooftops. Okay. So everything about me you want to find is on my website.
Okay.
NatalieMcCabe.com, and it's MCCABE. It's an old Irish name, so it's a double C. And so my podcast is on there, Mom Life Uncomplicated, where I give you tips and tricks, and I interview a ton of other parent coaches.
Oh.
Yeah, so you get all the different perspectives, and I offer workshops for parents, which I'm going to start offering to the schools here.
Nice.
And I wrote a book also. I didn't do a book launch. My book is out there, but I haven't done the big book launch, but it's called Sink or Swim Parenting.
Okay.
Go from surviving to thriving. So it's like a teaching memoir where it's a bunch of my stories of, my failures and foibles and what went on in my life, but also just some good grounded basics of parenting in all the different areas. Like my editor said, Natalie, each chapter could be its own book. I'm like, I know.
Wow.
Parents don't have time to read that, okay? I said, I want it short. I want it an easy read. I don't want any teacher jargon or anything like that in it. I want parents to be able to go, oh, here's a chapter on brain science. Here's a chapter on emotional regulation. Here's a chapter on your child's personality. Like just quick, right? To give that basis of what I've learned over the last 30 years. I started teaching kids when I was 14. I started teaching them dance.
Wow.
So I've been working with kids for most of my life. So I wanted to, that book's been on my mind for 20 years, since my kids were little.
Wow, incredible. And you've accomplished that goal.
Yeah.
Where can the book be found?
On Amazon, Sink or
Okay.
Swim Parenting.
Amazon.
Yep, I haven't done a big launch, but yep, you can find it on there. And it's an easy read. Actually, the first chapter you can download off my website for free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so people can get an idea.
Get something for free. Learn something about parenting and how we can be better with our children. And if really those 48%, that's literally like half. Like we're sitting here, parents, one of us is overwhelmed. Statistically speaking.
Really. And that's that. How is that going to help our society to have parents all
No.
that stressed?
No.
Our society's in a bit of a,
Yeah, conundrum, to lightly. So the focus, I think, should go back to the families. Instead of focusing out here on all the chaos and the craziness that's going on in the world, flip it, turn the news off, and focus on what only you can control. Yes.
Is what goes on in your house.
Yes.
And developing those relationships.
Yes.
Because when it comes down to it, that's what's most important.
They're the most important.
The most important.
relationships.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, Natalie, thank you so much.
Thanks for having
coming
me.
on to the Punta Cana podcast. Wow, I
gonna be a
learned
blast.
a lot. And I thank you for that. And I hope that all the parents out there contact you for the help. I really learned a lot just from this short conversation. I'm excited to dig more into things because my kids are small. I mean, they're 10 and 12. They're not
Yep.
babies, but I still have a ways to go.
Yes, you do,
so
sweetheart.
I can always learn and get better about things.
Absolutely. And people can just book a free call with me.
Oh, wow. That's
On my
awesome.
website, they can just book a free call. We can chat, I mean, because I had a parent book a free call and we had our chat and I'm like, girl, you don't need parent coaching. Like, I'm honest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
if you
she's
need
all
it,
right.
she good.
Okay.
But I mean, if you really need and want the help, then I'm there. And I have different, different models of how we can do it. Based for anybody's financial, whatever they can handle. Do you know what I mean?
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. I might even make some referrals to you as well because there are some parents I know who.
They're struggling.
Yes.
It doesn't feel good to
Yes,
struggle.
I know.
We're here to
So,
thrive.
Yes.
Right? Well, I say in my podcast, parenthood shouldn't be an episode of Survivor.
But
You know
it
what I
feels
mean?
like it
It
sometimes.
does. I know it. I know. But see, I've been there, right? And that's how I can relate. I've been there 16 years alone, single mother. My
Yeah.
kids saw their father 3 to 4 times a year.
Wow.
So it's not like I got a lot of breaks.
It was all you.
It was all me.
Yeah.
So I know.
So I would say
know.
that you should write a book, but you did.
I did.
So read the book. And thank you for being a part of this episode of the Punta Cana podcast. Please like and subscribe, make a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.